Do you buy the idea that the theater is the refuge of the unhappy child? In looking back into your early life, everybody close to you died.
Yes.
Your parents quite early, then the person who took care of you died, and so on.
Yes. Yes, and I was a lonely child and became terribly timid and frightened of other youngsters my age. You see, if you have brothers and sisters, you start at home fighting and going on and talking back and so on. But when you're alone and you are with quite elderly people, because my father was quite old when I was born, and my aunt, then you become very lonely and you become afraid of your own age. They are so much quicker and smarter and all that. And I was also terribly tall and thin and looked like a string bean. And I blushed terribly easily, which made the other kids in school laugh at me, and that made me even more afraid. Then you go home and you invent your characters. Your imagination starts to work. And I read a lot of plays, and I played all the characters, and I wasn't afraid to say that dialogue, because that wasn't me, that was them.
So it was an escape and a refuge in that way.
Yes, I think many actors are not always what one would think, extroverts and what. There's so many of them that just are so shy and just want to sit alone in a corner of a restaurant and eat their meal and not be seen or heard, and they don't like people to come up and ask for autographs and things like that. They're embarrassed.
Yeah. You know, I cringe whenever I see you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What is it?
You must wonder what that is. Well, a year ago I took over a part on Broadway, and having decided I don't care what they do to me, I'm just going to do this because I want to do it, and I can always go back. I have my other job. And you came on the first night. I don't know how I will ever forgive you for that. And you came backstage and did not even seem to be ashamed that you knew me particularly. But I want you to know how much better I got. Weeks and months. That's really a startling thing, though, when someone, if I had known you were out there, of course, I probably would have done it in Japanese or something. But it was strange.
Well,
but it brings me to a point. Why couldn't you and I make a romantic movie now?
Yes, well, I asked the script writers. They don't write anything romantic anymore.
Well,
and then I think I'm a little too old for you.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because someone, I was talking about this once on a show, but if Mia Farrow were in love with Cary Grant, who's what, 70 now?
Yes, I don't dare to mention it.
On the screen, it would work. I mean, people could believe that. But if a man her age were in love with a 70-year-old woman on the screen, it would be considered grotesque. Why should this be? It's unfair.
Well, you're asking me. I don't know.
I'm not asking you as a 70-year-old. But we'd better hurry before I get any older, I think. But it is. Is there any underlying reason why there aren't as many great parts for women as it seems in Hollywood?
Well, they're coming back now,
They are now.
It was about 10 years that it was only men. It was really aggravating to go around and look at the advertisement on that. Two men, Robert Redford and Paul Newman, and over here were Lee Marvin. I mean, it was only men. There wasn't a woman mentioned. And I think Barbara Streisand, she's the only one who could hold on her own. She had a movie. But it seemed that all actresses of any age, didn't make any difference what age they were, except very young and beautiful girls. They would get into some James Bond. But actresses just didn't have a chance. And then it changed a little bit with Julia and with The Turning Point, which was women. And I tried to change it myself with Liza Minnelli. We did the movie 2 years ago, but unfortunately that was cut to pieces and became a flop. So I don't think many people saw that. But that was the trend of trying to make two women work together and make it interesting. Now, of course, Liv Ullmann and I are working together. But what I'm waiting for and hoping for is that a man and a woman will get together again. Do you think there's a chance?
Would you like to be one of them? The reason I
I'll
ask,
be the mother.
The reason I ask is that you have threatened to retire, and I just don't want to hear of that. So. But you pointed out, I think, that there's a nice symmetry if you did quit with this picture, because intermezzo, or no, let's see.
Yes,
what was
intermezzo.
intermezzo? You were a pianist, and now you're a pianist. But that's certainly not a good enough reason to retire,
Well,
so
you see,
I'd like you to put that out of your head.
I don't know. I will see. It needs a lot of courage, because if you like to work as much as I do, because I'm really amused by it. It's been my life to entertain other people and either do movies or a stage play. And I've always said I want to go on until they, you know, throw me off the stage or stone me or something. But looking at my career now, it is impossible to find any good parts for the age I am. I would either play little parts like Murder on the Orient Express, you know, a little good part like that, or some uninteresting part in a movie where I would play somebody's mother or grandmother. It is hard to believe that I would find a part that is so important and is today such a sensation that I can still act that well at my age. And I would like to leave right there. And it seems to me I started like a pianist in my first international movie, and I play a pianist, and maybe somebody's trying to tell me something. This should be the end.
On your last day of shooting with Bergman, as you collected your makeup and your raincoat and so on, did you say to yourself, this is it, as you left the studio?
Yes, I heard a little voice say to me, the last scene we played was when Ingrid Bergman and Liv Ullmann's little daughter, she plays Liv as the little girl, and when the mother comes into to the hall to embrace her daughter, to once again leave for another tour. And I recognize that. I have done that so many times to my own children. I had to leave, and you just take the child in your arm and you kiss the child, and then you have to kind of push them away and rush up before they see that you're drenched in tears, and the child cries too, of course, but you have to break. And just as I kissed that child, I realized that it was Ingrid Bergman and Liv Ullmann's little daughter, and I grew so fond of both of them.
Lynn.
And this was little Lynn, and it seemed to me this kiss and this running away is my farewell to the movies.
Well, that's a wonderful story, but I don't like the outcome.
No, as I say, I might not have the courage to...
Well,
I felt it, that should be the way I should finish my career in the movies.
Well, I'm glad if you did finish there, I'm glad you found a director who treats actors as people and not cattle. You know Hitchcock's famous quote. I once had him on and I said, do you want to deny this quote that you treat actors as cattle? And he said, I would never say such an insensitive thing. What I said was, the quote being, actors are cattle, I believe. And he said, what I said was they should be treated as cattle. And he makes a nice distinction there, apparently. But he said,
Yes.
Bergman treated you as a person. Are there any regrets, Ms. Bergman, like I never made a film with, Olivier or Brando?
Yes, I thought that would, yes, I would have liked to have movies with both of them. Yes, there are many people I would have loved to have worked with, but it didn't work out. I mean, it didn't happen.
Is there anything else that hasn't... Have you been decorated by your home country, the way
Yes.
our mutual friend Holger Lundberg got the, I think it's the Order of the North Star, is it?
Yes, we used to have a medal that you could hang on your chest at formal invitations, and if you happen to be at in the presence of royalty. Litterus Artibus, I got that many years ago. That was when I still was in America. And then later on, some other thing I can hang on myself called Vasa Orden. And I think they're gone now because the Swedes don't want to do special kind of, they're all, socialism has taken over. And we don't give any more medals.
Well, if you ever feel like a bad mother and guilty, all you have to do is pick up a copy of Joan Crawford's daughter's biography.
I don't think I will pick it up.
Very difficult book to read.
I'm not going to read it.
All right. I have unrecommended a book for you then, I see.